St. Margaret de Youville. I was born in Canada. I went through a lot of things through my life. My father died when I was 7, and I had to care for my family. I married Francis de Youville, but he never loved me. I had 6 kids, but 4 of them died. Francis became ill and died. I needed a way to make money, so I opened a store in my house. I was really interested in helping others. I took charge of General Hospital of Montreal. I cared for troops on both sides. I was left with no income and heavy debts. I also cared for people with contagious illnesses, abandoned children, mentally ill people. Throughout my life, I learned to rely on God. I was the patron saint of family problems, and I died in 1771. Today, the Sisters of Charity of Montreal help spread my kindness.
Hi, my name is St. Peter of Alcantara. I was born in Alcantara, Spain in 1499, October 18th. When I was 16, I went to be a San Franciscan friar. Shortly after, I was sent to the University of Salamanca by my stepfather. I'm the patron saint of Brazil. In 1826, I was canonized 1699. My feast day is October 19th, and I died October 18th, 1562.
Saint Jerome Emiliani. My feast day is February 8th. I am an Italian humanitarian. Saint Jerome, I am the saint of orphans. Because I helped orphans, I cared for orphans. I was born in Venice, Italy. My father had died when I was only a teenager. Then I ran away to join the army when I was 15. Once I joined the army, I was captured at a failed line of defense of the enemy attackers. I was imprisoned in a prison camp, and I sat there for many months praying to God, and then a vision had come to me, and I had made a deal with God so I could be freed to give up my life of war, to be holy, and to be His servant. In 1528, I fed hungry and helped the sick, as I had made the deal with God, as He had told me to. I rented a house near the church. I rented a house near the church for the sick and the homeless, so they could pray to God. I helped build a hospital and many other orphanages. That's it.
Better known as Black Elizabeth. I was born 1880 in a military camp in Cher, France. My feast day is November 8th. I was the firstborn in my small family with a strong, willed, exuberant personality, although that personality often resulted in disagreement. At 7, my father and grandfather died, leaving only my mother and younger sister Marguerite. We soon moved to a suburban area. After my father's death, my temper tantrums got significantly worse. I soon participated in the sacrament of reconciliation, where I changed my ways. When I was 11, I made my first communion. That same day, I met the head of the group of nuns and was deeply interested. At 21, I officially entered the sisterhood, receiving my name, Blessed Elizabeth of the Trinity. My spiritual life continued to deepen. At 26, I died of Addison's disease. My last words were, I'm going to light, to love, to life. I devoted my life to God, strongly believing in the wonders of the Eucharist. I'm a good example of restoring your ways for the glory of God.
I'm St. Henry. My feast day is July 13th. My region of ministry is with the youth. As a child, I was educated by the Bishop of Freising and then studied at the Hildesheim Cathedral. The struggle in my life was when children asked me if they would have colored eggs for the Holy Day. Sadly, most of the children did not survive to Easter Sunday. My call to holiness is by encouraging your personal relationships to Jesus Christ and His Holy Catholic Church. By my combination of Christian, royal, and military virtues, I was a good king.
Yes.
is Rose Manieri. I was born in Viterbo, Italy on February 9th, and I made a vow to God to consecrate my life at the age of 7. But at the age of 20, I was confused and I had questions about my future. So not much longer, I decided to get married. And then later my fiance died, and then I decided to join the monastery of Catherine. Like I said earlier, when I was 7, I made a vow, and this fulfilled it. This was now a very hard time in my life because my father had recently just died. No one was expecting it, especially my mother, so I was basically forced to go and take care of her. My brother then died at the young age of 27. A few months later, my mother died out of stress and grief. By the time all of that happened, my sister Mario was married. That only left my other sister and me. I decided to gather the women by my home, and me and my sister prayed the rosary together. We had meaningful conversations and we prayed. I then went on to educate women and young girls. I founded the Religious Teacher of the Mary. I was a pioneer in the education of women and girls, and I wanted people to know that praying is important. I had hard times in my life because a lot of people in my family had died, but I still went on to fulfill my vow. Hi, my name is Rose Manieri. I was born in Viterbo, Italy on February 9th, 1656. I made a vow to God to consecrate my life at the age of 7, but at the age of 20, I was confused and I had questions about my life. So I agreed to get married, and not much longer, my fiancé died.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is St. Margaret of Scotland.
Hi.
I was born in the year 1045. I'm the daughter of Edward the Exile, who is also the king. I grew up in a very religious environment, always praying and going to church every Sunday.
Hello, my name is St. John Fisher. I was born on October 19, 1469. My feast dates are June 22nd and July 6th. I was born in Beverly, Yorkshire, 1469, to a modestly prosperous family. It wasn't long before I came into conflict with King Henry VIII. Our first dispute was over the funds left by Lady Margaret. Then we had another fight when Henry tried to divorce his wife. I preached publicly against him. He tried to take over the church, but I told him he couldn't. Because I was in disagreement with him, he had me beheaded. I died on June 22nd, 1535. I was canonized on May 19, 1935 by Pope Pius XI.
That they had already told me, which sort of made me like a fortune teller. But in 1940, I urged the church to build a hospital for everyone who was sick with the donations they had been taken in. And the church was completed hospital was completed in 1946. And it was a modern marvel for the time because it was so technologically advanced. It could hold up to 350 people, which was good because there was a lot of sick people back then. And people noted that whenever I prayed for them in the hospital, most of them ended up being cured, which is good because no one likes being sick. And that's pretty much how the rest of my life went on. Although when I sadly died in 1968, and I was canonized in 2002, or turned into a true saint. Thank you. When I was 15, I decided to go join the war, which at the time was World War I. Pretty nasty stuff. Except I was discharged after they discovered that I had can we start this over?
Stuttering-osis? Tuberculosis?
That's
okay, St. Pio.
When I was little, my name was Katerina. When I was growing up, I wanted to be just like my older sister, St. Clair. So when she became a nun, I wanted to become a nun just like her. When I turned 15, I ran away to St. Francis Convent. But my father became very angry, and he dragged me out of the convent by my hair. My body then grew very heavy, and he had to let me go. I went back to the convent to pray to the Lord for help with my relatives' temptations to bring me back. We were very close with St. Francis, so we were with him when he was very ill and died. Not long after my sister, St. Clair, died, I died at age 56.
Of your talk. Okay.
Going?
Yeah, just right now. Yeah.
Hi, my name is St. Agnes of Assisi, but my name wasn't always Agnes. When I was growing up, my name was Katerina. And I wanted to be just like my older sister, St. Clair. I died in the year 36. I lived in Jerusalem, and I'm the patron saint of stonemasons. And my feast date is December 26th. Nothing much is known about my life, but here are some things that are known.
To keep our family together. When I was 16, I got a job as a kitchen aide at this Count de la Chile. A very kind-hearted woman took me around her town on visits to see the sick people. With the approval of Francois and Virginia in 1839, I brought a blind widow home named Anna Chavin. I gave my meds to provide a place for our guests to sleep, and with that, a charity started. It was called the Little Sisters of the Poor. We went from door to door asking for food and clothing, and in the end of August, I received my last sacrament. My last words were, "Oh Mary, my dear mother, come to me. You know how I love you and long to see you." I had a peaceful death and was buried in the graveyard of the Mother House. I was beatified in Rome on October 3rd, 1932.
Prisoners that were losing their faith. While I was there, word of my actions got to the king, who had me in prison for that. While I was in prison, I was beaten up and I had to work very hard, but I still prayed for my tormented souls. The king tried numerous times to get me to denounce my faith, but to no avail. I was eventually executed by stoning while being burned alive, but even through all that, I was still preaching. By this, I decided to dedicate my life to God. I then got ordained as a priest and eventually became head of the St. Vitus province. Years later, Pope Urban VIII decided to send.
Okay, just give me like 10-15 seconds worth, okay?
Hello, my name is St. Agnes. I was born in 297, raised in a Christian family. I didn't really do much of my life except pray. And when I was 13, these soldiers came to my house and dragged me down the street to this post.
Education possible. My father's name is Abdul. After my father's death, I was reinstated as a tax collector at his position. I was liked for my writing ability throughout the town.
One night we had the same exact dream that an angel came down and whispered in our ear and said everything was going to be better. Finally, the next day my mother got all better. She wasn't sick at all. She now trusts me to set.
When I was in the war, my best friend died right in front of me and I was terrified. So I prayed to God every night, and if everything was okay, I would give everything I could. And that's exactly what I did in my later life.
And that was my first man. I died on June 8th, 1154, of poisoning in the Mass. I was canonized in 1227 by Pope Honorius III, and my feast day is June 8th.
And
William of York.
What is it?
Washed his feet with perfumed oil and dried it with my hair to show him respect. And so God forgave me. And I soon became an apostle of Jesus. On the day that I was to be crucified, the day that he was to be crucified, I stayed with him the whole time through his suffering to comfort him. And when he was buried in his tomb, I went to go visit him. And then I went and I saw it empty, so I ran to go get help. When I came back, I was met by two angels, and I told them that someone had stolen his body, but then I saw him resurrected. Now think back to the question that I asked you before. Would you have stayed with Jesus like I did, or would you have left? Picture this.
Would I have stayed with him till the end? I was with you.
Remember that question?
That's where my virtue loyalty comes from.
First off,
I was loyal to Paul on all his missions and how I stayed with him till the
my
end.
parents, Iris and Archia, were very rich, and he is very rich.
I lived in the first century. My feast date is October 18th. Now I'll tell you about my life story.
And I soon became an apostle.
When I was young, I was made a slave, but I also had an education for being a physician. It wasn't uncommon for families to educate slaves. I was also a close friend of Paul of Tours. And when I got older, I accompanied him on his missionary trips. But on one of his trips, we were imprisoned in Rome. After everyone left Paul in prison, it was I that stayed with Paul till the end.